Faith at work. How to build a life and business you can't yet see. Faith. It's a word we hear tossed around in sermons, TED Talks, social media reels, and morning devotionals. But have we grasped it? Especially when building the life and business we want to create? Hebrews 11:1 says it best. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. NIV. At a glance, that sounds beautiful, poetic even. But under a microscope and the pressures of real life and entrepreneurship, it gets much more complicated. Because, let's be honest, who among us doesn't prefer seeing the entire path before taking the first step? Faith doesn't work like that. In life, in business, in leadership, in becoming who you were made to be. Faith demands movement before certainty. Faith requires you to invest in the unseen. Faith insists you act today based on promises that haven't materialized yet. And guess what? That's precisely how God designed it. Faith. The invisible blueprint for life and business. At the 50,000-foot view, faith is the thread that stitches together the whole story of humanity. Every hero in the Bible built something they could not see. Noah built an ark when there was no rain. Abraham moved to a country he didn't know. Moses led people toward a land he had never set foot in. If you look carefully, every significant life and leadership move starts with invisible blueprints, even today. God speaks a promise, plants a vision, stirs a dream, and then waits to see if you will move. It's the same in your calling. It's the same when you dare to launch that business, write that book, invest in that idea, mentor that person, or scale that team. You build based on what you believe, not what you can measure. Hebrews 11:6 tells us that it's impossible to please God without faith. And without faith, it's impossible to innovate anything meaningful. Faith is essential infrastructure. It's not a fluffy add-on. It's the scaffolding your future hangs on. Zoomed in, faith grows where trust is tested. Now, under the microscope, let's get practical. Faith is not just positive thinking. It's not about conjuring up optimism or pretending everything is okay. Faith is anchored in God's unchanging character. You don't build a life or business on your limited sightline. You make it on the unshakable promises of the one who sees the end from the beginning. Our genuine faith acknowledges risk. It acknowledges gaps. It just doesn't stop there. Faith says, I can't see how this will work out, but I know who is leading me. Faith says, I don't have every answer, but I trust the one who does. Faith says, I will invest, even when the return is invisible for a season. Faith stretches you. It tests your patience. It reveals your fears. It demands that you build the ark, even when it feels foolish to everyone else. It's terrifying to stake your actions on something unseen in life and business. You'll want guarantees. You'll wish to the analytics, the validation, and the metrics. But faith is what propels you before the numbers roll in. In short, faith isn't a business strategy. Faith is the soil out of which every God-honoring strategy grows. Connected tissue. What life and business builders must learn. Let's connect some dots. Faith births obedience. If you believe, you act. Period. Faith grows in tension. Waiting, uncertainty, and hardship are not obstacles. They are faith's training ground. Faith leads to love. True faith over time will soften and humble you and make you a better leader, spouse, parent, and friend. Faith leaves a legacy. Hebrews 11 reminds us that many faithful ones never saw the full harvest in their lifetime. but they planted seeds that changed history. If you want to live significantly and build anything that matters, you cannot avoid the faith journey. You must grow comfortable walking roads you cannot see down. Building a business is an act of faith. Raising a family is an act of faith. Choosing to love difficult people is an act of faith. And showing up today when you feel invisible is an act of faith. Faith ties heaven to earth. It makes what is invisible begin to show up, little by little, as you move forward. Reflect and act. Your faith check-in. Now it's your turn. Take 5 minutes, take them, and reflect. Is my life or business driven more by fear of the unseen or faith in the unseen one? Where am I hesitating to build because I can't see the full results yet? What promise from God am I holding on to? And how can I take one small step of obedience today? Action step. Pray. Ask God to strengthen your faith muscle today. Not faith in yourself, but faith in His power, His timing, and His goodness. Then do the next right thing. Send the email, write the page, make the investment, show up for the client, apply for the opportunity, and speak the hard truth in love. Move. Move based on the invisible bridge that faith lays down. Remember, in God's economy, believing always precedes seeing. If you wait until you can see it, you'll be too late. But if you walk by faith, you'll live a life and build a business that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined, because you trusted the master builder all along. And that's the kind of legacy worth living for.